Welcome to my shop. My name is Steve. This video will cover the joinery method that I use to build the fitted lid box. Let's get over to the workbench. Now that my box sides have been mitered or beveled, I've verified that looks like I'm going to have tight joints both across from inside to outside and from point to point, from top to bottom. So now comes the question of joinery. In order to do this, if I were to just glue these two pieces together, here glue, I would have an end grain to end grain glue joint, and that will be one of the weakest joints you'll ever see in woodworking. So you really need to reinforce it in some way, shape, or form. Your joinery options for thin wall boxes are quite limited. I will be using the Hoffman Dovetail joinery system for this build. I will use W0 keys. These are the smallest keys, and you need to clamp as much of this as you can. This joinery method will enable me to keep the rabbet fit on both the lid and the bottom invisible. I will see keys from the bottom, and I'll see a key slot for the top, and that will be covered by a holly inlay. So let's go over to the Dovetail machine now, and I'll show you how I set that up. It is currently set up with the W0 bit installed. I'm going to take the miter fence off so I can gain access. Okay, so the power's off, the air's disconnected, so this dovetail bit needs to project a minimum for the W0 of 2.3 millimeters. The bottom side is engraved with the different bit sizes from W0, W4, 1, 2, and 3. So since this is a W0 bit, for initial setup, I normally would set that up against this gauge. Once the bit is set up using the gauge, I like to check it. And for that, as an accessory, this I think is about $30, is an eye gauging bit. And what you do is you'll bridge across between the two fences, and you'll set to 0, and this is already 0, and I'll measure the actual projection that I get, and in this case I am 2.34 millimeters. So since that's greater than the minimum, I should be okay from a clamping standpoint. And this is one of the box sides of a slot that I need to mill. And one of the things you'll notice here is that there's very little vertical support. This is thin wall. I've done it before, it works, but if you do many tall boxes, I would recommend getting an accessory, the tall fence system. This will have a much taller fence that provides good support for your workpiece. I just hold it up against the fence. I don't have to worry about any wobble at the bottom. I need to adjust the setting to where I put the key in the position that I like. Now what I'm going to do here is I want the neck of the dovetail slot to just leave just a slight feather edge there. So I'm just going to eyeball this. I highly recommend using a test piece. But out of this box, the remnants of this box, this was the only material that I had left. And there's no way I'm going to use that to make a test joint. So what I did, I took the test joint from the domino storage box and I whacked off the ends, and that gave me a little longer piece that I can check the position. So now that I've got my mark, I will position the fence such that this mark is in alignment with the point of that bit center indicator. I drop the clamp down to the workpiece, lift it up slightly. Okay, so I've milled a slot. I'm actually, on this one, I think I'm too close to the outside edge. So I'm going to move to the bottom. I'm going to move the fence assembly. Let's see how I'm just going to do the same piece. I know I won't have a good dovetail slot, but I'm not going to make up that joint anyway. So let's see where we are. Yeah, I'm right there. That feather edge, I just have a feather edge right at that corner, so that's where I want to be. So I'm just slightly recessed, but I have not busted out the bubinga, and I've got a good corner, so I'm going to call this positioning good. Now that I have a satisfactory test joint, I'm going to mill the pieces. Bottom side first. Now that all the dovetail slots are milled in the corners for the box, I'm not going to show the assembly of this box or the glue up. It is the same as what is shown in the fitted lid box build for the domino box, and I would refer you back to that if you want to see that. But I'm going to go ahead and size the top and bottom, and in the next video I'm going to cover how I make the holly inlays to cover the lid dovetail slots. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching.